Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Bachelor Nation News live panel. We are so excited to be with you today, and we have a lot to discuss. Normally, during the off season in Bachelor Nation, the stories may be few and far between, but we have a lot to get into today. We have baby news, we have breakup news, and literally everywhere in between. So, we're going to have a lot of good tea for you today. Before we get started, I just want to remind you, if you are new here, to subscribe to our shared news channel, ring the bell so you never miss out on any of our Bachelor Nation panels. As always, I'm your host, Morgan Wright, today joined by Kayla. How are you, Kayla?
Hello, I am good. How are you? We were just saying how I don't think we've done a panel together since my first week here. So I'm excited to get all of your updated bachelor opinions. But
Yes, it has been a long time. It's been a long time since I've done a Bachelor Nation live panel. So I'm feeling weirdly nervous, but it's also like riding a bike. You just got to get back on it and hope the wheels don't
sure.
fall off. But yeah, like I said, we have a lot of great stuff today. And I'm really excited because I love all of these couples that we're going to talk about, even though Kelly and Peter might be a little sad news. But let's start with some happy news because Becca Kufrin is showing off her baby bump. Now, I could not be more excited about this story. After finding love on Bachelor in Paradise season 7, of both Thomas and Becca proposing to each other last year, Becca and Thomas announced last week that they are expecting a baby and they're starting to take us along for the ride. So Becca did a Q&A on Instagram, really showing off her baby bump and revealing that she and Thomas found out that she was pregnant on January 21st of this year. That's almost 4 months. Are you surprised they kept it a secret this long?
I am shocked, and I'm still shocked. I know she announced this maybe over a week ago, but I'm still in a state of shock. I just didn't expect it. But I actually got a
Mhm.
DM saying that she posted a picture of her refrigerator months ago that had the sonogram on it, and we all totally missed it. I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, it's possible. I feel like it'd be so hard to keep that secret for so long, especially when everyone's kind of, looking at you in this
Nosy.
couple and, more we were thinking we were going to get wedding news, but instead we got baby news.
Yeah, and the sonogram on the, refrigerator, that has definitely happened in Bachelor Nation before. I believe it happened to Adam and Raven, where they didn't announce
Oh,
that they
did
were
it?
having a kid yet, but somebody saw, the sonogram in the background. But I really am so here for this. I love Becca and Thomas. I love their relationship. I feel like they both have had, quite the experience on the Bachelor franchise. Of course, Becca being a contestant on The Bachelor and then having her own season and, all the fault. She has had a really difficult journey, to find her everlasting and true love. So to see her pregnant, engaged, glowing, I am totally here for it. Um, I want to ask you, Kayla, do you think that Thomas was inaccurately portrayed as a villain? Especially when you consider, the light that we look at him in now when he was on Katie's season and even on Paradise.
I don't think we've ever had a Bachelor Nation person that's done such a 360. Is I'm not gonna lie, Morgan, I was a full-on hater. Even going into Bachelor Paradise, I remember the moment I saw just a 2-second clip of Becca and Thomas on a date together when the Bachelor in Paradise promo came out. I called my sister and I was freaking out. I was like, if he hurts Becca, I'm gonna find him. And I was really expecting the worst, and maybe that's
Mhm.
not fair. I know I am a big fan of Katie Thurston's season, and so the dramatics of how he left that season, and I kind of went into Bachelor Paradise like that. But being able to see them just bringing out the best in each other, and I feel like it had to have been a fluke of some sort. I don't even know what happened on Katie Thurston's season because he's really only shown us the good since. And I
Yeah.
trust Becca's judgment. I am now all for it, a stan. And he ended up not being a villain after all.
Yeah, I know we're all eating our words when it comes to Thomas because it's like very few guys in the Bachelor franchise end up being a husband and a father to a Bachelor baby. And here is
Hmm.
Thomas Jacob just proving us all wrong. I want to remind you guys, if you are hanging out in this live with us, feel free to leave a comment or a question at any time. And Kayla and I would be more than happy to answer and give our thoughts. So if you want to drop A little comment about Thomas. If not, we're going to move on to Victoria and Greg. They are taking the next step in their relationship. They are house hunting together. So in March, Greg revealed that he saw himself marrying Victoria and having babies within the next 5 years. Well, if they're going to have babies, they might need some more space. Victoria posted on Instagram that they might be looking for a home where they can start their lives together. It was an Instagram story, and it says here, remember when I told y'all we were going to be looking at houses with a little smiling, crying emoji? This house here was in Nashville, and that's where Victoria currently lives. Greg is still officially in New York, but they always seem to be together. So do you think these two are going the distance?
I am in the minority where since day one, as soon as I knew she was not with Johnny anymore and Greg, and after the I have been they're my one of my favorite bachelor couples. I for some
I
reason just
agree.
got a feeling and I would just like they're going to make it. And I got a lot of hate on it like social media being like, "What are you talking about? They're going to be over in 5 minutes." And I was like, "No, mark my words that we are going to get bachelor babies. We're going to get a bachelor house. We're going to get it all." And I fully believe in this couple. And I kind of have a theory when really kind of almost what you said about Becca and Thomas. The ones who kind of get it the roughest and maybe don't have as much of the support, I feel like they really make me push them together even more, right? And I feel
Mhm.
like it's them against the world, so it kind of creates this bond that's unbreakable.
I agree with you 100%. I don't want to say that I was on board like right off the bat. I don't know like if I believed that they would end up getting married, but I did see the chemistry there was so like palpable. And I feel like you can tell, and I know social media isn't real life, so we can't kind of judge everything that we see, but I do think that you can feel couples energy where sometimes it feels a little off. I know this is a bachelor panel, but I feel that way about Paige DeSorbo and Craig Conover, where, on Bravo, they're together, but their energy seems a little bit
Dude, I
off.
totally
But with
agree.
these Okay, okay. We'll get in that another panel. But with
Yes.
these two, I really do feel like they're best friends, that they have a strong foundation, and now they're, looking to take the next steps in their relationship. Speaking of Craig and Paige, this is a great segue because on that show, we're seeing Paige lives in New York and Craig lives in South Carolina, and they're having trouble figuring out where they're going to live. Similar to what's going on here with Greg and Victoria. Greg is in New York. Victoria is in Nashville. Where do you see them landing? And do you think that it's going to be like an easy decision for them, or is it going to take some compromise here?
I mean, probably definitely compromise, but I just see it as a landslide towards Nashville. I think it is a
Mhm.
bachelor hub. I could see them. It's not like New York energy, but it still has, I mean, it's a bigger city. It has a lot to offer. And also maybe just a lot more room for them, if they are wanting to have these babies. I don't know how soon, but, finding a house maybe closer to Nashville versus New York, I think might be a little easier and probably a little cheaper. Maybe not much, but I see them settling in Nashville.
Yeah, I agree with you. Terrence, I think Kayla and I both agree with you. We're very happy for our first two couples. And Kayla and I were talking right before we got on here saying they would have the most beautiful babies in the entire world, Greg and Victoria. So we're keeping our fingers crossed for them. But we're going to switch gears here because although we have two happy stories, we also have a little bit of a sad update. And that is that Peter Weber and Kelly Flanagan have allegedly split for a second time. So there was speculation for a while, but nothing confirmed. And even still, no official breakup announcement, which I find interesting. But Peter did say in an Instagram story that he was single. So, how this all played out was he was at a beauty convention in Calgary, Canada. I don't know why he was at a beauty convention. That like is a rabbit hole that we need to go down another day. But this esthetician was doing an Instagram story and she said, "Ladies, he's single." And he was like, "Yeah, I am." So he definitely didn't deny it. Are you surprised that Kelly and Peter have broken up now for a second time?
Not at all. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit I love couples, I love love, but I just never thought that they had what it takes to go the distance. I mean, especially with just Peter's history of just like, final pick, never mind runner up, never mind someone
Mm,
that I sent home week 7. I feel like that feeling of Kelly of not being picked first has to stick with you in some way. And
yeah.
I guess just the on and offness also isn't the greatest sign. They've broken up
Yeah.
before, and if I had to choose a team in this breakup, I am team Kelly. I think it's gonna be really hard for Peter to get a girl on her caliber ever again. That's my take.
Oh, shots fired a little bit.
Sorry, shade to Peter, but I'm just like, I'm
No,
not his
that's
biggest
okay.
fan, but I mean, he's lovely.
Yeah.
I root for him in love, but just not with Kelly.
Well, I mean, also when you think back to the reason that they first broke up, it was pretty much because Peter wasn't ready to settle down, right? So
Hmm.
I am not a believer in I personally got back together with my ex and it worked out beautifully. We're engaged, we're happily in love and we're getting married.
Oh,
So
really?
I'm
I didn't
never
know
one to
that.
be like, don't go back to your ex because it does work, I think, for people in different stages of their life. I think probably if I had to make an educated guess, Peter probably had to do some convincing of Kelly to get her to try this for a second time and saying, I do want to settle down. This is the way my life is going. She's very established. And maybe he actually really wasn't ready for that. After all, would you want to see Peter or Kelly back on Paradise?
Yes, but one or the other. I don't wanna see both of them on there because that's just, like, give them a chance, right, without all that
Yeah.
drama. And, I mean,
Yeah.
Bachelor in Paradise is gonna be so wild this year. I feel like we're gonna have more leads than ever before. We'll kind of get
Yeah.
into that later in the panel, but, I kinda love the messiness of Peter. I think Kelly will be a little bit, like, I don't know, not as much drama, so I'm kinda rooting for Peter to go on the beach. Is that bad?
No, not at all. We love drama. That's why we watch The Bachelor. And we're going to talk about Bachelor in Paradise, but I just want to remind you if you are here watching our live with us, feel free to leave any comments, questions, opinions, and we would love to chat with our shared news family. So, like I said, we're going to talk Bachelor in Paradise because we're already starting to wonder who's going to go. Clayton revealed that he has his eye on Jess from Zach's season and maybe not like full throttle. I'll get into, kind of the context of this conversation. So Clayton was
Mhm.
on clickbait with Bachelor Nation, and Joe asked him, has anyone caught your eye while watching Zach's season? And Clayton was like, yes. At first, he was very tight-lipped about the situation, he didn't wanna give a name, and then he says, "Well, I've been talking to this person a little bit," but then he switches gears and says, from all the things I saw on social media and what I saw on TV, I think Jess was pretty cute. She's a pretty cute girl, if you want the clickbait, she's somebody who I think I could be interested in." So, I was a little bit confused at first because he says, in this conversation, he says, I'm talking to this person a little bit. So I'm like, is he talking to Jess? Or is he saying, I'm talking to somebody else and Jess is someone that I can see potentially liking in paradise? But if it's the latter, how crappy would you have to feel if you're kind of talking to Clayton and he's on clickbait saying that he would be interested in Jess? I mean, what are your initial thoughts about this? In my opinion, kind of a weird conversation from Clayton.
So I actually missed that part because I knew about the Clayton and Jess, but I didn't realize kind of the lead up to it. Very interesting, whether is Jess that he's talking to and it was just kind of translated weird, or maybe the
Mhm.
only way he could get away with it is Joe did ask specifically from Zach's season, right? So maybe the
Mhm.
person he's
Yep.
talking to isn't from Zach's season. So if he had to choose from Zach's season to be Jess, but maybe he's talking to someone who is from a different season. That's the only
Right.
thing I could
Do
think
you
of.
think I know, it was just very, very weird. I think he probably got caught up in the moment because really at first he didn't. He was like not wanting to say anything, and then he kind of said everything all at once. But let's just pretend like, Clayton is going to paradise. Do you think him and Jess would make a cute couple?
I absolutely love it. As soon as he said it, it clicked, and I was like, "This could be a thing. We might have a new king and queen
Yeah.
of paradise." I don't know. He definitely she gives me kind of Rachel vibes, and
Yeah.
I think he's got a thing for blondes. Even though he liked Gabby too, I think He goes for the blondes, and Jess, I mean, all I need
Uh-huh.
to know is she's a Swiftie. I trust her, and, I really think her and Clayton could complement each other well, and then there's not all these also, like, she doesn't have these ties with some of the people who were on his season, so maybe makes it a little
Mhm.
bit more messy versus, "Oh, this person was engaged to my friend," or something like
Right,
that. Um,
right.
I see this happening. I think the only kind of thing that they might trip over is Rachel potentially being on Paradise. I haven't given up hope between
Mm.
Clayton and Rachel. So, we might have a love triangle, maybe? Well, I hope so.
I mean, the more drama, the better, right? I think Jess is going to be the hot commodity in
Oh,
Paradise
yeah.
this season. We don't really have a confirmed, list of people that are going, but I would be very surprised if Jess didn't go. I also would
Same.
be surprised if Clayton did go because he was very vocal about how he did not really deal well with the backlash from his season. And honestly, it can be too much from Bachelor Nation sometimes, like, pump the brakes. Why are you DMing this guy, like, death threats? It's too much sometimes. So I guess just for how outspoken he's been about his mental health struggles and when it comes to the show, I would be surprised if he wanted to put himself back in that limelight. But I will say I feel like when it comes to Paradise, if you have a fan favorite edit on the normal season of The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, your reputation will plummet on Bachelor in Paradise. And if you were a villain, Bachelor in Paradise is a place you go to get your redemption story. So who really knows where any of these people will land when it comes to Bachelor in Paradise? Do you have any predictions or anybody that you really want to see in Paradise? I know I'm putting you on the spot right now, but just before we wrap things up.
Yes. I mean, I will be so disappointed if Christina Mandrell isn't there. I think she is needed. She was made for Paradise. I
Yeah.
do think we're going to see Johnny again, too. A little Rachel and Genevieve moment, maybe Michelle. And I'm like 90%, like, I have this feeling that Clayton will be there, too. So, definitely my prediction is just more leads than we've ever had before, making it way messy. And Zach's season, like, their girls are just going to, like, run the beach, I feel like.
Yeah. I agree with you. I can't even remember like who was on these seasons. I'm like, who would be in
Yeah.
Paradise? I can't even remember. I really hope that Justin Glaze gets another chance because I love him. Andrew, I also love Ariel,
Mhm.
the heavy hitters. So Terrence says, I think Jess would be cute with Jordan, the race car driver from Rachel and Gabby season. I forgot
Yes.
about Jordan, the race car driver. That is
Yes.
an
That is a
excellent
great
point.
prediction.
And he went home
I
super
love that.
early, right? And everyone was really shocked by that decision.
Yeah, it was kind of like a grocery store Joe moment where he was like a fan
Yeah.
favorite, but like went home within the first few weeks. I don't know if
Yeah.
you saw this, Mercedes from Zach's season did shoot her shot with Andrew via TikTok. They did like a
Oh,
duet with Katie. So I don't know if Mercedes and Andrew should be someone we're looking out for. I would love that too.
yes, I would love that too. Well, hopefully, I mean, it is May, so they're definitely in talks, maybe even starting to film, within a couple of weeks. So I'm sure we'll be finding
Mhm.
out more scoop soon. That's it for our Bachelor Live panel. Thank you for hanging with us today. Even if you're watching the playback later, feel free to leave a comment, a thought, an opinion, because we love to hear from our shared news family. Before you go, make sure you subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you never miss out on any of our live panels or our pop culture updates. As always, I'm your host, Morgan Wright, today joined by Kayla G. Our handles are on the screen right now if you want to come say hi on social media, and we will see you back here next time. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.